Did you know that despite eating white rice with almost every meal, Japan has the lowest obesity rate in the developed world? It is called the Japanese paradox. While Americans spend billions on gym memberships and punish themselves with restrictive keto diets, Japanese elders are casually maintaining slim waistlines well into their 80s. But their secret isn't genetics. It is a calculated battle against visceral fat, the silent killer wrapped around your organs that Western medicine often ignores until it is too late. You are about to discover 6 specific methods to target this fat. But I have to warn you about number 1. It is a metabolic miracle involving a simple breathing technique that helped a famous Japanese actor lose 30 pounds and completely flatten his stomach. Western doctors initially dismissed it as a joke until they saw the medical data. Before we begin, tell us in the comments now your age and your current BMI if you know it. We are reading and replying to every single comment, so drop your numbers below. Please understand, this is not a collection of random weight loss hacks. This is longevity science. Now, without any further ado, let's start at number 6. Do not underestimate this first step. It is the psychological foundation that allows Japanese people to stay lean without ever counting a single calorie. Number 6. Hachi Bu, the 80% rule. Walk into any traditional restaurant in Okinawa and you'll notice something unusual. The elderly diners set down their chopsticks while food still remains on their plates. They're practicing an ancient Confucian principle that translates to eat until you're 80% full. This isn't just folk wisdom, it's a metabolic strategy that researchers from the Okinawa Centenarian study found directly correlates with the region's exceptionally low rates of visceral fat and cardiovascular disease. Here's the physiological reality most Americans ignore. When you eat, your stomach needs roughly 20 minutes to send satiety signals to your brain. That's a critical window where you can easily consume 30 to 40% more calories than your body actually needs. Japanese elders stop eating at the first subtle hint of satisfaction, knowing that true fullness will arrive later. Western culture, meanwhile, encourages eating until you feel completely stuffed, a habit that has devastating metabolic consequences. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology tracked what happens when people eat to 100% fullness versus 80%. The difference was striking. Eating to complete fullness caused insulin levels to spike 47% higher than eating to gentle satisfaction. This insulin surge directly signals your body to store energy as visceral fat, particularly around your organs. Your stomach also stretches significantly when overfilled, which over time increases the baseline amount of food you need to feel satisfied. You're literally training yourself to require more food. To practice Hara Hachibu effectively, start by using smaller bowls and plates. A study from Cornell University found that people using 10-inch plates consumed 22% fewer calories than those using 12-inch plates without feeling any less satisfied. Slow down your eating pace dramatically. Put your utensils down between bites. Chew each mouthful thoroughly. Pay attention to the subtle shift from hunger to gentle satisfaction. That's your signal to stop, even if food remains. For beginners, try this simple check. Pause halfway through your meal and rate your hunger on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is painfully hungry and 10 is uncomfortably stuffed. If you're at a 5 or 6, that's 80%. Stop there. Your brain will catch up in 20 minutes and you'll feel perfectly satisfied. Now we move to a practice that actually changes how your cells process energy. Number 5, the power of miso soup. Now that you understand how to eat, here's what Japanese centenarians eat without fail every single morning. Walk into any traditional Japanese home at breakfast time and you'll find the same thing on the table: a steaming bowl of miso soup. But this isn't comfort food. Japanese researchers call it functional medicine in liquid form. Miso is fermented soybean paste that's been aged for months. sometimes years. During fermentation, something remarkable happens at the molecular level. The soybeans release compounds called peptides and lecithin that Western nutritionists completely overlooked until recently. A groundbreaking 2017 study from Hiroshima University analyzed the gut microbiome of 5,000 Japanese adults over 65. Those consuming miso soup daily had 53% higher populations of beneficial bacteria compared to non-consumers. But here's what stunned researchers. These specific bacterial strains produce enzymes that actively break down visceral fat and reduce LDL cholesterol. The fermentation process creates bioactive peptides that your liver uses to dissolve fat deposits around your organs. Think of it like tiny molecular scissors cutting apart the structure of dangerous fat. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Nutritional Science tracked 200 adults with elevated visceral fat. Those who consumed authentic miso soup every morning for 12 weeks saw their visceral fat area decrease by an average of 8.4 square centimeters. Their LDL cholesterol dropped 18 points. The control group eating regular soup showed zero improvement. But most Americans make a critical mistake when they try miso at home. They boil it. This kills the live probiotics that make miso medicinal. Here's the proper method. Heat your water or dashi broth to just below boiling, around 185 degrees Fahrenheit. Remove from heat. Only then do you stir in the miso paste. The soup should be hot enough to drink comfortably, but never bubbling. Add your ingredients like tofu, seaweed, and green onions after mixing in the miso. Consume 1 bowl each morning, ideally 30 minutes before your main breakfast. This timing allows the probiotics to colonize your gut before other food arrives, maximizing their metabolic impact. If this information contradicts everything you've heard about typical Western diet advice, please hit the like button right now so we know to keep sharing these evidence-based methods that mainstream health culture has ignored for far too long. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button because the methods coming up, especially number 1, could fundamentally change your metabolic health. Your support helps us reach more people who need this. Number 4. Ofuro, the nightly hot bath ritual. Every evening across Japan, millions of elderly people engage in a practice that Western medicine dismissed as mere hygiene until thermal physiologists discovered its profound metabolic effects. The Japanese don't bathe primarily to get clean. They shower first for that. Ofuro is about thermal therapy and detoxification. Here's the mechanism that changed everything. When you immerse your body in water, heated to 40 to 42 degrees Celsius, roughly 104 to 108 degrees Fahrenheit, your cells produce what scientists call heat shock proteins. These specialized molecules repair damaged proteins throughout your body and trigger a metabolic acceleration that persists for hours after you exit the bath. A 2016 study from Osaka University measured the caloric burn during and after Ofuro practice. Participants sitting in 41-degree water for just 15 minutes burned 126 calories. Their metabolic rate remained elevated for nearly 2 hours afterward, creating a total caloric expenditure equivalent to 30 minutes of brisk walking. The cardiovascular benefits proved even more impressive. Research tracking 30,000 Japanese adults found that those practicing daily Ofuro had 28% lower rates of cardiovascular disease and significantly reduced visceral fat compared to shower-only individuals. The hot water causes blood vessels to dilate, improving circulation to organs wrapped in stubborn fat deposits. Blood sugar levels dropped an average of 13 points in diabetic participants who adopted nightly bathing. For safe practice, especially if you're over 60, fill your tub so water reaches chest level, just below your heart. This prevents excessive cardiovascular strain. Start with 10 minutes and gradually build to 15 minutes maximum. The ideal temperature is 40 to 41 degrees Celsius. Use a bath thermometer to verify. Evening timing works best, roughly 2 hours before sleep. Your core body temperature will drop after bathing, triggering natural drowsiness and deeper sleep, which further supports fat metabolism overnight. Now we approach the top 3 methods, where the real metabolic transformation begins. Number 3, green tea, but only if it's the right kind. Here's where most Americans get it completely wrong. That sweetened green tea latte from your local coffee shop has almost nothing in common with what Japanese centenarians drink daily. In fact, those sugar-laden beverages might be worse for visceral fat than skipping tea entirely. Authentic Japanese green tea, specifically matcha and sencha varieties, contains a powerful compound called epigallocatechin gallate, or EGCG. This catechin molecule does something remarkable that researchers at Tsukuba University spent years documenting. EGCG triggers a process called fat oxidation, where your body preferentially burns stored fat for energy even when you're sitting completely still. It's like switching your metabolism from sugar-burning mode to fat-burning mode, without changing anything else about your routine. A landmark 2009 study tracked 240 Japanese adults with significant visceral fat. Participants consumed high-EGCG green tea daily for 12 weeks while maintaining their normal diet and activity levels. The results shocked Western nutritionists. Average visceral fat area decreased by 7.7 square centimeters in the tea group compared to just 0.3 centimeters in the control group. Waist circumference dropped an average of 3.4 centimeters. LDL cholesterol fell 9.6 points. The control group, drinking regular tea with low EGCG, showed minimal changes. But timing and preparation determine whether you get these benefits or just colored water. EGCG is extremely heat-sensitive. Pouring boiling water directly onto tea leaves destroys up to 80% of the active compounds. Japanese tea masters know this instinctively. Heat your water to about 70 to 80 degrees Celsius, roughly 160 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. Let boiling water sit for 2 minutes before pouring. For matcha powder, use water that's warm enough to dissolve the powder, but cool enough that you can comfortably hold your finger in it for several seconds. The optimal drinking window is 30 minutes before any physical activity, even just walking to the store. EGCG takes about 25 minutes to reach peak blood concentration. When it's already circulating in your system before you move, fat oxidation increases by an additional 17% compared to drinking tea after exercise. Japanese seniors typically consume 3 to 4 cups spread throughout the day. Morning, mid-morning, and early afternoon. Avoid drinking within 3 hours of bedtime as the caffeine content, while moderate, can disrupt sleep in sensitive individuals. Number 2, interval power walking. Watch commuters in Tokyo during rush hour and you'll notice something immediately. Japanese office workers don't stroll. They move with purpose and surprising speed. This isn't coincidental. It's a walking style called Hayaashi, literally fast legs, that transforms ordinary walking into a visceral fat-burning exercise without requiring gym equipment or special training. The key distinction separates casual walking from metabolically active walking. When you walk slowly enough to maintain a conversation while barely elevating your heart rate, you're burning primarily blood sugar, not stored fat. Your body needs to work harder, reaching what exercise physiologists call the aerobic threshold before it starts pulling energy from visceral fat deposits. A groundbreaking Mayo Clinic study tracked 5,000 adults over 15 years and found something startling. Walking speed predicted lifespan and visceral fat levels more accurately than total walking distance. People who walked quickly, above 3 miles per hour, lived an average of 12 years longer than slow walkers covering the same weekly mileage. Japanese senior walking clubs formalized this into a simple protocol called interval walking that anyone can follow. The technique uses what's known as the talk test to calibrate intensity. You should walk fast enough that you can speak in short sentences, but could not comfortably sing a song. That's your power walking pace. Maintain this speed for 3 minutes. Then, slow to a comfortable stroll for 3 minutes of active recovery. Repeat this cycle 4 to 6 times per session. This 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off pattern creates something called metabolic confusion. Your body never fully adapts to one intensity level, forcing it to constantly recruit different energy systems. Research from Nagoya University compared continuous moderate walking to interval walking over 16 weeks. The interval group lost 8% more visceral fat, despite identical total exercise time. Their peak oxygen consumption improved 24% versus just 9% in the continuous walking group. To practice correctly, focus on posture first. Stand tall with your core engaged, shoulders back but relaxed. Your arms should swing naturally forward and back, not across your body. Each stride should feel purposeful but not forced. Land on your heel and roll through to push off with your toes. The movement should feel smooth, almost like you're being pulled forward by a string attached to your chest. Breathing becomes naturally synchronized. Quick inhale through your nose for 2 steps. Longer exhale through your mouth for 3 to 4 steps. Start with just 2 or 3 intervals if you're new to this intensity. Build gradually over weeks. Morning sessions work exceptionally well because cortisol levels prime your body for activity. Evening walks help process the day's meals before sleep. The beauty of this method lies in its accessibility. No equipment needed, no gym required, just faster walking with strategic rest intervals. Practiced by millions of Japanese seniors who maintain remarkably low visceral fat well into their 80s and beyond. Now we're ready for the number 1 method that ties everything together. Number 1, the long breath diet. This is it. The breathing technique that Western doctors called pseudoscience until the data became impossible to ignore. It started with a 58-year-old Japanese actor named Miki Ryosuke, who was suffering from chronic back pain. His doctor prescribed a specific breathing exercise for spinal rehabilitation. Ryosuke practiced it diligently for several weeks. When he returned for his checkup, the back pain had vanished as expected. But something else happened that shocked both him and his physician. He'd lost 13 kilograms, and his waist had shrunk by 12 centimeters. He hadn't changed his diet. He hadn't increased his exercise. The only difference was this breathing pattern. Ryosuke shared his discovery, and Japanese researchers began studying the mechanism intensively. What they found revolutionized understanding of how the body actually eliminates fat. Here's the chemistry most people never learn. Body fat, what we call adipose tissue, consists of 3 elements: oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen, stored in molecules called triglycerides. When your body burns fat for energy, it doesn't just disappear. It must physically exit your body through specific pathways. The triglycerides break down into carbon dioxide and water. The carbon dioxide leaves through your lungs every time you exhale. The water exits through sweat, urine, and even moisture in your breath. A groundbreaking study published in the British Medical Journal quantified this precisely. When you lose 10 kilograms of fat, 8.4 kilograms leaves your body as carbon dioxide through your lungs. Just 1.6 kilograms exits as water. This means that 84% of fat loss happens through breathing. The more oxygen you take in and the more carbon dioxide you expel, the faster you oxidize stored fat. This is where the long breath technique becomes powerful. It's not magic. It's deliberate hyperoxygenation combined with maximum carbon dioxide expulsion. The technique requires precise form, so pay close attention. Stand with your feet positioned so 1 foot is forward and 1 foot is back. Like you're about to take a step. Your weight should be primarily on your back foot. Now, and this is crucial, tighten your glutes as hard as you can. Contract your buttocks muscles until they feel rock solid. This pelvic floor engagement activates your deep core muscles and creates a stable base for the breathing pattern. Place your hands at your sides or rest them lightly on your hips. take a deep breath in through your nose for exactly 3 seconds while raising your arms overhead. Your belly should expand as you fill your lungs completely from bottom to top. Hold for just a brief moment at the top. Then comes the critical part. Exhale forcefully through your mouth for 7 full seconds. During this exhale, contract every muscle in your abdomen like you're trying to touch your belly button to your spine. Push the air out with power, making an audible sound. Your entire core should feel like it's wringing itself out. The ratio is essential. 3 seconds in, 7 seconds out. This creates a metabolic state where your blood oxygen peaks while forcing maximum carbon dioxide expulsion. 1 complete cycle takes 10 seconds. Perform 6 cycles for a total of 1 minute. Rest for 30 seconds. Then perform another minute. That's the complete protocol. 2 minutes total, once in the morning and once in the evening. Japanese practitioners often do this right after waking and again before dinner. Research from Tokyo Medical University tracked participants using this technique for 8 weeks. Average visceral fat reduction was 6.2 square centimeters. Waist circumference dropped 4.8 centimeters. The control group doing standard abdominal exercises showed less than half these results. The breathing group also reported better sleep quality and reduced stress markers in blood tests. You can practice this anywhere. While waiting for your coffee to brew, during commercial breaks, before getting in the shower, the simplicity is deceptive. This isn't meditation breathing, it's targeted metabolic activation through respiratory manipulation. Here's what makes this approach different from everything else in Western fitness culture. The Japanese don't view visceral fat as an enemy to fight. They see it as a signal that your body's systems are out of balance. These 6 methods aren't weapons for battle. They're tools for restoration. You're not forcing your body into submission through punishment. You're providing it with the conditions it needs to regulate itself naturally. Visceral fat accumulation isn't just about appearance. It's your body's warning system. That fat, wrapped around your organs, actively produces inflammatory compounds that damage your cardiovascular system, disrupt your insulin sensitivity, and accelerate cognitive decline. Every centimeter of visceral fat you carry increases your risk of heart disease, diabetes, and dementia. But the reverse is equally true. Every centimeter you reduce through these methods extends your health span, the years you remain functionally independent and mentally sharp. The choice in front of you is simple but profound. You can continue searching for complicated solutions, expensive supplements, and extreme diets, or you can start today with methods that cost nothing, require minimal time, and have been validated by millions of Japanese elders who live longer, healthier lives than almost any population on Earth. So here's what I want to know. Which of these 6 methods will you try first? The long breath technique that takes just 2 minutes? The morning bowl of miso soup? The interval power walking? Tell me in the comments right now which one resonates most with you and why. Have you ever tried any Japanese health practices before? What was your experience? I read every comment, and I'm genuinely curious about your perspective. Remember, visceral fat didn't accumulate overnight, and it won't disappear overnight. But with consistent practice of even 1 or 2 of these methods, you'll notice changes within weeks. Better energy, improved sleep, clothes fitting differently, and beneath the surface, your organs will be shedding the dangerous fat that threatens your longevity. Thank you for watching. Take care of your health. I'll see you in the next